Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Game Week 18 knee-jerk stream. Game Week 17 is kind of over. We'll talk about that in just a minute. We're going to start looking ahead to Game Week 18. The deadline is on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. UK time, so don't miss that out. Plenty of points. I'm on another green arrow, which is decent. I think I'm in and around the top 200,000 now. Whatever happens to the points in the Bournemouth-Luton game will determine where I finish. But either way, a green arrow, a full house of clean sheets, double Arsenal defence against Brighton. Happy days. So a pretty good game week. Obviously, we should talk about there's going to be lots of questions about what's happening with the points in the Bournemouth-Luton game, and a lot of questions about what I think should happen to those points. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. Right, I don't really care what happens to the points. I just want FPL to sort it so people can stop worrying about it. And yes, there's more important things. Hopefully, Tom Lockyer is going to be absolutely fine. Hopefully, he's back out on the pitch sooner rather than later. That's obviously the first thing. From an FPL point of view, I think there's only really two outcomes. Right, you either give all the points. I don't get why Slanky doesn't have bonus points, for example. So you either give all the points for the game, or you just give 0 points and do auto subs. I feel like that's the only two options. The only reason that wouldn't happen is if the game was replayed before the next deadline. So let's just say they can play it on Tuesday or Wednesday. Then you could just have the points for this game week and just not close game week 17 off. But otherwise, you either give all the points or you wipe them, and that's it. Which way around they do it, I really don't care. You know, there's bigger things that have happened here to cause this, small issue for a game that we all love. But that's the only two options, I think. I don't think people are going to be happy either way. I wouldn't even say fairest. The most obvious thing for me would be to just wipe the points. If the game the game has been abandoned, right? If it's not replayed this game week, it's like it never happened. But it all basically, right? I should have recorded this so it's not coming out all rambly while I'm live. The reason that nothing has been decided from FPL, I would assume, is because we don't know what the Premier League are doing, right? Because, hang on a sec, I'm about to cough. Yeah, because we don't know what's happening with the match, right? If it gets completely abandoned and they replay it in full, then it makes sense to wipe the points. But will they just end the game as a draw? Will they just replay the last 30 minutes? We just don't know. I think the complication for FPL will come if they replay the last 30 minutes, but not until after game week 17. Then there's a big complication for how FPL deal with it. And I think the other issue for FPL is they're not exactly the most tech savvy in terms of how the technology works for the game. You remember during COVID, they kept the deadlines running, right? They kept them going the whole way. So I don't know what's going to happen. Someone said, "Why are you pretending like you don't care?" It's not. I'm just laid back about these things, right? Whatever will happen, will happen. And in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. So whatever, give the points or don't give the points. Just figure it out. Obviously, a lot of people saying it's unfair if they do a double game week later on, but it will be a double game week, 100%. If the game is completely abandoned, they replay it in full, it will 100% be a double game week. Like, there's no other way to do it, and that is the way they should do it. Will the yellow card be wiped too? Presumably, but we're just going to have to wait and see. Honestly, we could sit here discussing this for an hour and still be no further. We just need to wait to see what FPL decide and what the Premier League decide. Right? We can't, yeah, exactly. Like Dewey says, we can't control it. These things happen. And ultimately, I know there was a lot of talk last night on Twitter about, what you can and can't discuss. I think it's perfectly normal to still want to know what's going to happen to the points. But this has happened because of a very rare event, which nobody wants. Nobody wants to see a player collapse like that. And that is why ultimately I just don't care what happens to the points. Wipe them or not. It just doesn't really matter. We'll find out at some point. It's not going to affect any of our lives up until that point. So yeah, we can keep going around in circles on this. The only thing to say is FPL haven't told us what's happening. I've got no clue what's happening. And that's the same for everyone, right? You can't give the points. Again, what's the point in going through this? You can't give the points if they play the full game again. It means you get an extra game. But everyone will get the extra game. Everyone will have a chat. If it's a double game week later, everybody will have a chance to bring Solanke in, etc. So they could give the points and still have another game later. I'm not saying that's the best way or what they'll do, but it could happen, right? Yeah, I really don't think that's the attitude, to be honest. But anyway, let's let's try and move on from this. Will the world? I'm not getting into this nonsense about will the world be a better place if we care less about the Solanke points. I didn't say you shouldn't care at all. I actually said I completely get it. It's completely normal to think about this. I'm just saying I don't care what happens to them, and it doesn't really matter either. We'll just find out at a later date. Okay, let's get into some questions about FPL. Other than Dubravka, what goalie do you recommend? I mean, great question. They're all terrible. I really don't know. Martinez maybe from Villa, possibly Ray if you want to go for an Arsenal defender. There's not really a huge amount of obvious goalies. Areola seems to have lost his place. Whether he's going to get it back, who knows? Who knows? Vicario, I'm not sure about that. Edison, yeah, Pickford. Pickford can't keep keeping this many clean sheets. Anana clean sheet as well today against Liverpool. Liverpool are terrible. Is that fair? Liverpool are terrible. I think by their standards, I think saying terrible is fine, actually, yeah. Pickford 6 clean sheets, I know. The best replacement for Darwin, who's been awful. Darwin Núñez has been terrible. He was so bad against Man United. Offside, yellow card for getting annoyed at the ref. Like, I don't think he did. Like, the where he thought Diaz should have got a penalty, like, he could have gone and got the ball and maybe tapped. I don't know if he could have tapped in. I think the angle would have been too tight. But who knows? He could have gone and got a goal from that position. And he's calling for a penalty instead. Like, play to the whistle. Like, you learn that when you're a kid. Play to the whistle. Simple as that. I think for me with Darwin Núñez, I'll almost certainly just bench him and then decide what to do next week. The week after, sorry. He's on my bench right now. He was on my bench anyway before the Liverpool game even kicked off. Kudus essential, yeah. Share's form is awful. I need him out. I mean, Newcastle got a clean sheet, right? You just got very unlucky with Share picking up an injury. So he's probably gonna be out for a week or two. How do I feel about my hit? So I took a 4-point hit to do Haaland and Archer to Watkins and Solanke. It was a bad hit. As soon as Gordon played, it was a bad hit. It was a bad decision. I think I'm 1 point down. Obviously, if Solanke's points get wiped and they auto-sub, then their hit wasn't so bad, but that's just whatever. You can't account for that. So in terms of a decision, it was maybe bad, but we also didn't 100% know Gordon would start, right? So there was some risk involved with playing him. I do think I said on the deadline stream, I thought he was more likely to start than not, but I still didn't want to risk it. Plus, I kind of wanted just to get Watkins in as well. I think there was a little bit of that. So yeah, the hit is probably paid off okay. I think if anything, I'm down like 1 point or something like that. I've not seen any news on Isak, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Lascelles the GOAT, never injured. Lascelles, I can't believe it, right? So Botman's back and you're thinking, well, I can't go for Lascelles, but now Fabian Schär's injured. Presumably Lascelles will keep playing. You should get him for game week 18 anyway. Thoughts on Strakosha instead of Areola? I mean, if Areola doesn't get his place back, then yeah, you might as well just save the money. So I think that was a red for Dallo. So I did tweet about it straight away. I did delete it because maybe it was a bit harsh. I think it was a red. I guess I can't really answer that because I don't know what was said. But it was a bit strange, wasn't it, to get a dissent and dissent again. But at the end of the day, if he's been given a yellow for the first demonstration, don't carry on, right? I get it. Like, heat at the moment, because he'd done really well to track Salah back, and then it wasn't a throw-in either. So I get he's frustrated, but you've already got a yellow for going on and on. Just stop, right? It's hard. It probably is a bit harsh. But just stop and get on with the game. Which Aston Villa defenders would you consider? So, Pau Torres came off with about 15 minutes to go or something like that. Apparently, he's got a slight injury. Now, I don't know whether it's going to keep him out of the next game, but I would just keep an eye on that. So, right now, if I was buying a Villa defender, it would be Konza, I think. And I might be buying him this week. Areola will get his spot back, I have no doubt. Still got strapping on his wrist. Just give him more time to fully recover. Okay, fair enough. I mean, if you've got Areola and another playing goalkeeper, you should probably just keep him anyway, right? This is how the rules should be, though. Just refs never give it. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for clamping down on players having a go at the ref, to be honest with you. It was a clear penalty on Diaz. I don't think it was, but I can't really remember exactly what happened. But I don't think it was a penalty, was it? I didn't say he should be allowed to scream at him at all. Surely you keep the best defender in the game, Matty Cash. I'm probably selling him this week. I mean, my team for next week looks pretty good. Well, it looks okay. I'm currently got Gabriel and Saliba both benched against Liverpool away. So I've got Dubravka against Luton away, Pedro Porro against Everton at home, Cash against Sheffield United at home, but I don't think he's going to start. Although if Pau Torres is out, then Cash will start. Taylor against Fulham away, and then midfield 5, Salah, Son, Saka, Palmer and Gordon, and then up front Watkins and Solanke. And my bench is Darwin, Saliba, Gabriel. So if I think Cash starts, I'll probably roll the transfer. At least that's the plan. And if Pau Torres is fine, then I suspect that Cash will probably get benched. In which case I might sell him, but I don't know who to. It'll either be an Aston Villa defender, Trippier or Trent. It just doesn't feel great to buy Trent before Arsenal. Couldn't buy a clean sheet for the past 10 game weeks. Goalkeeper and 3 defenders all having clean sheets in 1 week. Yeah, I got all clean sheets as well. Dubravka, Porro, Gabriel and Saliba. It's a shame there's so many other players also got clean sheets this week. But I did say that on the final thoughts video this week. Someone asked me about clean sheets, how, should we just focus transfers on attack and returns? But it's not like there's never going to be any clean sheets. We should still play FPL in a very similar way, right? We should still be looking for the best defenders with the best fixtures. I don't see why we would stop doing that. Of course, if you want to prioritise attacking moves instead, that's perfectly fine. But there are still defenders out there to get your points. Do I play Tsimikas next week or take a hit? I'd probably just play him, to be honest. Trent is a must. Not sure about that. There's a message on the FPL app to say that Game Week 17 remains open following Sunday's matches. More information to follow. Yes, that is exactly what's happening. And like I said earlier, let's just see what happens, really. I know some people have very strong opinions whether it's what should happen. I don't particularly mind what FPL decide as long as they just, I think for them they just need to get it not even right. That's the wrong word, but they just need to get it all sorted at once. So when they've decided and they've got it sorted from a text perspective, then they put the messaging out, and that's it. We just try and forget about it, basically. How many points will Villa win the league by? I mean, they're playing very well. Darwin isn't getting a game ever again. The thing is, right, Darwin was awful, but let's not pretend like he was the only one that was awful for Liverpool. I mean, who played well for Liverpool today? Trent was okay. Van Dijk was all right. Alisson good for the very small things he had to deal with. There wasn't really too many outstanding Liverpool players. It's not to detract from Darwin's performance, but Liverpool in general just weren't very good, I didn't think. And that's not me saying that Man United were good. I think Man United played just as expected, right? They're just not a very good football team at the moment. But Liverpool just didn't take advantage of that. I think it's one of those games where I think if you go and check the expected goals for that game, like Man United terrible and Liverpool was over 2, but it didn't feel like that. It never really felt like Liverpool had massive chances. Like first 5-10 minutes they were pretty good. Then after that it was almost like they ran out of ideas. There was loads of long range shots. Then I was thinking to myself, if I wasn't a Man United fan, I'd almost be, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be like annoyed with how they played today, to be honest. You have an influential voice in FPL, so you should not underestimate your say in the whole thing. So don't let us down by not stating an opinion. Yeah, but I'm sorry to say, I don't really care what happens to the points. I just don't. Like what will be, you know? I don't think it really matters. I mean, I would probably wipe them. If the game is abandoned and it's not played this game week, then you should probably wipe the points and auto sub. But again, if they don't do that, whatever, really. I wish I could have a super strong opinion either way, but I just don't, to be honest. According to FPL rules, the point stand after the final game on the day is played just like Solly March's goal. This is different though, and there's also something in the rules that says something about extenuating circumstances, and I think this is one of those occasions. It's not like Solly March's goal at all. Would you play Colwell or Simicast this week? Probably Colwell, I think. Pedro Porro versus Trippier. Who are you grabbing for share? I'm quite tempted to buy Trippier this week. The only problem with buying Trippier is it's Luton away, which I'm not sure Newcastle will get a clean sheet. Then it's Forest at home, and then you got 3 really tricky games: Liverpool away, Man City at home, Villa away, and I don't think they keep clean sheets in any of them. And obviously at that point, you're then starting to get closer to Salah and Son returning from AFCON and Asia Cup. I don't know if I can get them and Haaland and also have Trippier. So by the time Trippier becomes good again, I might be looking to offload him. So I'm not really too sure about that. Do you not care because you have Gordon first sub? I knew people would say that. I just, not really. It doesn't really matter who I've got first sub. I just ask anyone that I know. I'm just too laid back about this stuff. It just doesn't bother me, right? Like, FPL will make a decision. Some people will be really upset about it. And then a week later, we'll forget about it and we'll probably move on. I mean, I haven't completely forgotten about the McNeil assist that they owe me from about 4 seasons ago. But apart from that, I'll take whatever they say, really. I don't think Cash starts against Sheffield United, no. Do I have any news on Johnson's injury or return date? I don't, to be honest. I'm not seeing anything yet. Someone else might have, though. Who is essential? Don't have any City or Brentford players, so the blank doesn't matter to me, and are happy with my forward and mids. Paro, Konza. No one's essential, really. I mean, yeah, if you haven't got Paro, you could look to bring him in. Konza's not a bad option for a cheap player with good fixtures coming up. Bigger picture question. There's a trend over this and last season. There's fewer clean sheets. Do you think FPL will consider adjusting the point scoring? No. And they definitely shouldn't lower defender pricing. Pricing is already too low as it is. FPL pricing in general is already too low, in my opinion. I think what's starting to happen now is exactly as predicted at the start of the year. That people were quite happy. I mean, I do think at times like the pricing has felt okay, but generally there was lots of talk about how the pricing means you can access anyone. Therefore, there'll be lots of different teams. What it actually means is you can just get pretty much anyone you need without too much issue. I mean, look, if Trent and Trippier were smashing in 10-pointers every week and Salah and Haaland were doing amazing, Son, maybe a bit trickier. There's just not enough high-priced players to really worry enough. So pricing needs to go up, not down, in my opinion. What do you think about the Saka assist? I'm really sorry about not having strong opinions. I've genuinely not seen it. The match wasn't on TV and I've not bothered to look it up yet. So I haven't seen it, I'm afraid to say. Who would I buy if money was no issue, Son or Richarlison? I mean, definitely Son for the next 3 weeks, but obviously after that, he's going to go away to Asia Cup and Richarlison will continue playing. So as a long-term move, Richarlison's not bad. I didn't actually answer the best replacement for Darwin, but it's probably Watkins or Solanke. And after that, there ain't a huge amount of great forwards. He'll always be Davern Noodles for me. Isak or Darwin out for Watkins. I mean, Isak wasn't even in the last squad, so I'd wait to hear more news. But if he's out still, then I'd sell Isak as bad as Darwin's been. I took a punt on Darwin for this week instead of Solanke. Yeah, a few people were saying that. I had no interest in that whatsoever. Is he worth holding on to for the Arsenal game or switch to Solanke before getting Haaland back? If you're getting Haaland back in 19, I would just hold Darwin. It's not worth an extra transfer just to get Solanke, in my opinion. Gordon to Son went terrible. Good move, though, I think, without the hindsight. Who would you buy, Trent or Trippier? I'm a little bit torn because I've been looking at this myself. I think the fixtures are quite similar for both. Trent maybe just about edges it. But Trippier, I don't know, there's something telling me that Trippier is the one. But when I look at the fixtures, I do think Trent could outscore him. It's just that little bit more expensive. I just don't know if it's worth it. I mean, right now, obviously, money feels like, you know, we've got plenty of it. But that won't be the case very soon. I feel like Trippier is maybe the one, but I don't really know why I think that though. I think it's quite tight between the two. Livermented to check. That's not really a great answer either. I'm not sure. I need to have a bit of a think about it. I guess with Trippier, like if they get a clean sheet, he's almost certainly going to get bonus. But then Trent's pretty good for that too. Porro could outscore both Trippier and Trent. Maybe. I think the other two are much more likely to get clean sheets, to be honest. Any Chelsea players in your thoughts bar Palmer? Probably not right now. You know, Sterling, I've just missed Sheffield United. He's still on 4 yellow cards. A defender, probably not. I think I've missed I think the point to buy a Chelsea defender was probably against Sheffield United. I think once I'm past game week 18, Porro, Gabriel, and Saliba are pretty good. And if I swap cash to Konza, then I think my defense is all right for now. I think Gordon's not a bad option to go for this week if you need a new midfielder. But just remember that Newcastle have got trickier fixtures after the next 2. Should we hold our wildcard given Pep's double game week breadcrumbs? Yeah, so for anyone that didn't see it, Pep kind of... So Ben Crellin tweeted about it. I don't know. Pep kind of said something that made it sound like we could get double game week 21 for Man City and Brentford. Pep said, so this was the plans for the winter break, which is in January. He said maybe we go to Abu Dhabi in January to make a camp there all together like in the past when we had time, but I don't know. Maybe we play that game against Brentford, but the Premier League didn't announce, so I don't know. So it sounds like there's conversations going around to play that game in January, but maybe not for game week 20, so it could be game week 21 instead. And I think at that point, if you've got your wild card and you don't need it, you could just hold it that little bit longer. Oh, Solanke's been given the bonus points back. That's interesting. With the update, he's been given the points back. Wonder why that is. I'm sure. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Again, they're either gonna keep the points or they're gonna auto sub. So we'll see. I'm sure. I wouldn't read too much into what happened with the points at the moment because there's probably. I honestly think it's probably just technical reasons why that's happened. Would you be advocating for the wiping of points if you didn't have Gordon on the bench? Yes. I mean, like, let's say I didn't have Gordon, I had cash. We're talking about 4 points. Like, honestly, do you really think I've got like such a strong opinion over 4 points? Of course, I want the most amount of points possible. I want to do really well in FPL, but who I've got on the bench has no factor into what I think. Like, I just think if the game is completely abandoned, then it makes sense to wipe the points. That's probably the most logical thing to do, right? But I also don't think it's completely unreasonable just to keep the points. The game was played up to a certain point, so you could just keep them, right? But I really wouldn't read too much into the fact that Solanke has his points back. I suspect it's a technical thing, and they haven't decided yet. You're an FPL content creator. You want as many points as possible. Yeah, I do, but again, I'm. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to lose any sleep if I have 4 less points tomorrow morning. You know, I mean, you can believe otherwise. I don't really want to keep going over it, but I promise you, I will sleep well tonight. Whether I've got Solanke's 9 points, Gordon 6, or Cash's 2, like whatever, really. Start Saliba or Gabriel against Liverpool. I think Gabriel is probably slightly more threatening from set pieces. I've thought that for a while, but I don't know if it's worth taking the risk when we know Saliba's completely nailed. But at what point do we stop worrying about Gabriel's minutes? I'm not sure we'll ever stop worrying, to be honest. Yeah, I'd probably just play Saliba for the safety, I guess. Konza's on 3 yellow cards. Would that bother you? Not particularly, I don't think. I mean, they've got to get to 19 games, so they are getting quite close to that now. So Konza could get a yellow card in game week 18 and one in game week 19. Then he'd miss game week 20. I feel like you get very unlucky to do that. So I'd probably take the risk on that. We need an upload on budget defenders this week. I don't think there's really too much to talk about. If you're spending kind of like 4.5 to 5, let's just say you're not getting Arsenal defenders. Let's say you're going less than 5 million. It's probably Konza or Colwell. I don't think there's too many other options to go for. I suspect no one's going to be talking about Senesi this week either. Should I upgrade my third attacker to Watkins and get Haaland in game week 20? I would definitely consider getting Watkins in this week. Put it that way. Palmer's 20%. Oh, madness. Put the lad on the wall. Maybe, yeah. Maybe. If Trent stayed at right back, Man United would have won. I'm not sure about that. I think Trent played pretty well, to be honest. I don't know. You keep asking me, why doesn't my Gabriel come on instead of Trippier? I mean, if Trippier's ahead of Gabriel on the bench, that'll be the reason why. And Nkunku's lack of game time at the moment is arguably more about AFCON than his fitness. They'll have Jackson and Broja at AFCON and incredibly limited forward options. Possibly, yeah. They need to give him some minutes soon, though. If Bournemouth Luton will be replayed, the point should not count. Otherwise, it would be like some people having a double game week and others not. It's not like that at all, is it? People are just getting the players that played, and then everyone's got a chance at a double game week. It's not really the same thing. Plan for Darwin long term is to probably sell him for a Man City forward. Yeah, I was going to say Broja's not at AFCON, right? Okay. I should have checked that before I talked about it. Yeah, okay. But he's never fit anyway. Oh, Udogie, yeah. Udogie's not a bad option. I still think I'd go maybe Udogie over Colwell, possibly. Not over Konza, I don't think. They got a couple of nice home fixtures coming up soon. What do I think about Gusto? He didn't even play the last game. I think there's a little bit too much rotation there for me. During AFCON, Salah will miss one match. Why do we have to sell him? But he might miss more than that. I think he definitely misses one match, but it's likely to be more than that. Yes, a good point. Sorry. I can't keep up with the yellow cards. Udogie suspended. Yes, good point. Good point. Adingra has averaged 80 plus minutes since game week 8. At 5 million, he was a great pick. Yes. Yep. Play 2 out of Tsimikas, Saliba, Gay, and Branthwaite. Who have Crystal Palace got? I played Gay, to be honest, against Brighton. Everton have got someone difficult, haven't they? Everton have Spurs away, yeah. I'd probably just play Gay and Tsimikas, probably. And Nkunku's French, yeah, but it's more about him being available when other players go away. Don't understand why you're blissfully unaware Jesus is fully fit, playing 99 minutes and scored 3 goals. Yeah, get him in. Raul Jimenez was stupid for the red card. I don't think it was a red card. He got the ball. Dubravka. Oh yeah, it was so good to get a Dubravka clean sheet the week that Trippier was suspended. Oh, the bonus. So this. Oh yeah, the Solanke bonus points have gone again. There you go. You just lost another 3 points. I don't really understand that. I don't get why they're doing that. Like, you're either. Surely they're either given all the points or none of them. So why do they just keep taking the bonus away? It's a bit strange. Again, it could just be a tech reason. Gravenberch has a hamstring injury. Klopp has confirmed. Not sure many people have got him for FPL. I guess it could have knock-on effects, though. Is FPL HQ trolling your stream again? Maybe. I started Trippier and have Gabriel on the bench. Well, the auto subs probably haven't been done yet. They'll be done later. Oh, sorry. Auto subs haven't been done because they've said that the game week's staying open for now. So that's why no auto subs have happened. Pau Torres or Moreno for sure. I wouldn't go for Moreno. Like he's great when he plays, but I don't think there's a guarantee that he always plays over Luka Dean right now. Can you share a wildcard draft? I haven't even thought about it for Game Week 18, but it's probably not going to be too dissimilar to the one I put up for Game Week 17. Everton is probably the most informed team at the moment. When are we starting to see their players as good FPL options? I mean, for me, when they've got good fixtures. That's it, to be honest. Have I discussed the scandalous assist not being awarded to Saka? Well, we have kind of touched on it, but if I've been honest, I've not seen it. So I don't know. Why is there no points for ball recovery in FPL? There just isn't. I had Isak as my starter, but he didn't play, and I had Gabriel. Okay, yeah. No auto subs are going to get done until the game week is finished, and FPL are leaving the game week open because they're waiting to see what to do with the Bournemouth Luton game. Luka Dean was suspended. If Moreno starts next week, it's game on. But the thing is, there's probably quite a high chance that Moreno does start, I guess, because they've played Sunday and they're not playing again until Thursday or Friday. I think it's Friday, isn't it? But the next game after that's then a quicker turnaround, so maybe Luka Dean plays that. I just don't think I'd be that worried about buying Moreno at the moment. The other thing to say is, it's not going to feel very fun to skip Moreno, watch him start against Sheffield United, and then bring him in against Man United away. And look, Villa can absolutely go and win that game, but I think Man United score. So then you're hoping he plays against Burnley, but it's not a guarantee. Funny if they replay this week and then Solanke blanks. If he does, so be it. If he does, like I said earlier, there's nothing we can do about it now. So if they replay the game on Tuesday or Wednesday, which presumably is not possible, it's too quick to get that organised, unless they play it behind closed doors, maybe. But I don't know if they would do that either. But if they play it and Solanke gets 2 points, then so be it, right? You take off 4 points, and then we all move on. I think Livramento loses his place now. I think he is not worth buying. Put it that way. I think Dan Burn could stay at left back. Trippier will come in at right back. Even if Dan Burn doesn't always play left back, he'll get enough minutes for Livramento to not be an option. Now, if it's a different question if you own him, I'd probably play him unless you had a spare transfer to deal with it. FPL have just tweeted confirming bonus. Yeah, but they would always... That's Sunday's FPL bonus points, right? Solanke didn't play on Sunday. I honestly, again, I fully understand that people are interested, and you should be, right? This is a game we put a lot of time in. But I would try and not stress about it too much. What will be, and we will find out about it in the next few days, I'm sure. Would you start Trippier and Lascelles next game week? Probably, yeah. I can't imagine you got too many other great defenders that are better than them. Luka Dean's never been rotated this season only because of suspension. Yes, but Moreno's also not been fit for most of this season as well. Will Kulusevski be back out on the right? Why did he move to the right? He moved to the right because Johnson went off. Yeah, it all depends on when Johnson's going to be back. I think ideally for Postecoglou, he would keep Kulusevski central. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, Johnson went off. I think it was a concussion substitution, so he probably won't be available for the next game. I don't know what the exact rules are there. Oh, Johnson's fine according to Ange. Okay. Allison for Dubravka, I need money. I mean, you could do that, yeah. But Dubravka's only got a couple of good games. Will they buy a goalkeeper in January? I guess the longer you leave it to buy Dubravka, the slightly riskier he becomes. Is Lascelles a sell now? I don't think so. Not with the share issue. Like, it was Share's hamstring. How long he's going to be out for, I don't know. But it seems unlikely that he would play in the next game, right? Stop being so laid back about Solanke while most of us are kicking the cat. Don't kick cats. Share is a glute issue, not hamstring. Okay, so he might be back then. So we need to wait and see what Eddie Howe says, which is great fun every week. Important life lesson here. If it's out of your hands, it deserves freedom from your mind too. What a fancy way to put it. I imagine you haven't been asked anything about this. What do you think about the Solanke points? First time I've been asked. First time I've been asked about it. Am I thinking about replacing Salah for AFCON? Yes. It almost certainly won't be for Havertz for me, but yeah, someone like Richarlison maybe, and then give me the money to get Haaland back. Could be an option. Kudus, possibly. So players going to Asia Cup and African Cup of Nations, they will play in game week 20, and then it's game week 21 onwards that they will miss. Why are people looking to replace Bowen? I don't think they are. Jandra, go and look it up. Honestly, I don't know how you've missed it. Just go and look it up. Oh, Kudus, yes, of course. Yeah, he's not going to be an option. Oh my god, I can't keep up with which players are going away, which players are on 3, 4, 5 yellow cards, who's suspended, who's injured going into the next week. It's not even Christmas yet. Well, have FPL tweeted again? I don't think they have. No, they just pinned their tweet from earlier. Am I doing a free hit video for Game Week 18? I wasn't planning on it, to be honest with you. I just talked about when players are going to AFCON and Asia Cup, literally like 2 minutes ago. Would you recommend a free hit in Game Week 18, or is there a better game week we need to reserve the free hit? I think for most people it's not worth using. Obviously, it depends how many Man City and Brentford players you've got, but if you're someone that's just sold Haaland, I can't really see how much a free hit will benefit you. Whether there'll definitely be a better week to use it, that's debatable, but there probably will be, I would say. Am I starting Areola next week? No, I don't think so. I'm starting Dubravka against Luton away. I think Man United will score against West Ham. I think if Cash is going to play, I might roll next week and just leave Dubravka in. Paquetá's not an option. No. I think that's just a classic knee-jerk. He's got a few assists today. I think if you're going West Ham, you're going Bowen preferably, and then Kudus is an option too. Although, as we just discussed, he's going away soon, so I probably wouldn't land myself with another issue down the line. Free hit if I have Walker, Foden, and Haaland. I mean, possibly, but you've obviously got other players you can play instead, so you could bench all three of them. Can I bench Darwin? Yes. I mean, I'm not 100% locked in with Darwin being benched, but I don't think I can bench Palmer because he's on penalties. Gordon against Luton away or Darwin against Arsenal at home is probably quite close. I think I'll end up playing Gordon. I'm not going to bench Salah, Son, or Saka, Solanke, or Watkins. They're all penalty takers. Apart from Watkins, we got Sheffield United. So I probably am benching Darwin. I will say, again, I said this earlier, Darwin was on my bench before the Man United and Liverpool game even started today. So I was kind of already doing it. And the game today did not help me all that much. I mean, if Darwin blanks and Saliba and Gabriel keep another clean sheet, that could be quite funny. But I think it's right to bench them if I can. I don't know whether playing Charlie Taylor against Fulham away is that much better than Saliba against Liverpool away, but I'm probably going to go this route. Who to bring in instead of Jimenez? I guess it depends how much money you've got. The next step up is probably Solanke. Would you wildcard after AFCON if you were moving funds around? I mean, you'd have to use your second wildcard for that, and it's almost certainly not going to be worth it. It'd be good to see you smile. You seem a bit preoccupied. No, I just don't smile very much. I'm just miserable. Just miserable. Sun's team got on all right. 1-1 draw against a tough team. Apparently Fabianski's got the #1 goalkeeper spot back. According to who, though? When am I getting Haaland back? Probably game week 20 by selling Salah, which doesn't sound very fun, but that's probably what I'm going to do. The thing is, if it was this week, right, if I was selling Salah as part of a 2-transfer move to get Haaland back this week, I don't think people would mind because Salah's just blanked. But if Salah smashes it in game week 19, people are not going to want to see Salah being transferred out the week after. Second wildcard is available from Game Week 21. The chances are you're probably not going to want to use it until around Game Week 30 for most people. Do I think Turner lost his spot again? I honestly think it's just worth ignoring completely. I wouldn't buy him, that's for sure. I mean, is he 3.9 or is he going down to 3.9? Let's have a look. Yeah, he's already 3.9. So I guess if you were buying a 3.9 million keeper, like you needed the money, you could go for him. But that's the only way I would do it. I wouldn't be using a transfer outside of that. Eddie Howe said Gordon was playing through a knock and they know he needs rest. Did he actually say that, or did a journalist report that they knew that was the case? Either way, I don't think it's surprising that Gordon needs a rest. But I don't know if it's going to come anytime soon. Like, Barnes isn't back either. Isak's not in, so who's going to play on the left? And Newcastle will play midweek as well, so preferably Gordon gets a rest in that. But let's see. What are your 3 worst transfers so far? I know you said Cash in your tweet was bad. Yeah, I mean, obviously people will look at Rashford and Fernandes, but they weren't transfers, right? They were in my squad from Game Week 1. I don't know if I've made a worse transfer than Cash, to be honest, this year. Areola Flecken to Dubravka, early transfer viable. I mean, I'd try and wait. Is Dubravka going up in price? Probably not. I'd try and wait until after the Carabao Cup game. Oh yeah, Watkins to Darwin was probably worse, yeah. Watkins to Darwin probably was worse, actually. I'll put Cash down as number 2 instead. Is that what Howe said about Isak, not Gordon? No, I did see something about Gordon needing a rest, but I don't know if Howe actually said that. What has happened in the past when games have been abandoned due to heavy snow? Surely this isn't the first abandoned game in the history of FPL. Someone was looking back last night, and I don't think there has been many Premier League games that have been called off after the game has already started. Like, plenty of games have been abandoned before it's kicked off, but there's a slight difference here. Pickford out, then getting clean sheets, maybe number 3. I don't think Pickford was a bad transfer. I don't think it was bad to not have Pickford, to be honest. I did say Pau Torres. I know. Well, look, I did think Cash was probably the one to go for if you had the money, but I did say, like, Pau Torres, he's cheaper. You can bench him later on. He's easier to hold on to. Would have been nice, but whatever, right? These things happen. There's plenty of stuff I'll say and get completely wrong too. I have Bayer, Emerson, and Cher starting in your bus team so far. That doesn't sound great. Gabriel and Baldock bench, thinking -4 to sort this out. Porro in and Trent or Trippier. I mean, yeah. As -4s go, there's probably worse ones. Oh, Dubravka might rise tonight or tomorrow. I mean, you could do Areola to Dubravka and hope for the best. I mean, you know the risk with making early transfers at this point. Need a goalkeeper, 4.9 million or less, thinking Raya at Liverpool this week. Do you know, if you want Raya as a long-term hold, I think he's pretty good. The thing is, if you're buying Raya, he can't play against Brentford. So you need a goalkeeper that's going to play when he can't play that week. Now, it's a little while away, but you don't want to keep making goalkeeper transfers. In the Cup, how did I get on in the Cup? I think I probably won. Yeah, I'm on. They're on 48. They also took a 4-point hit. They had Mitoma, Andreas, Son. They've also got Solanke, and if Solanke gets auto-subbed, I'll get Gordon. They'll get Lamptey. They got Lampt. The thing is, their main team's kind of like, it's kind of normal. Like, it's okay. Like, it's not awful. Like, Senesi at the back. Andreas Pereira, I guess, is not a pick that many people are making, but it's not terrible. But on the bench, it's Strakosha, Lamptey, Sergio Gomez from Man City, and Chukwuemeka. Either way, I've won my cup match, so I'm through to the next round, which is good. What is your opinion about captaining Salah this week? I think it's a worse choice than it was against Man United. I think Arsenal probably so far this season the best defence. Like, even better than Man City. Man City always find a way to concede. Like, you look at Arsenal, incredible, by the way. Like, their expected goals conceded. So let's just go all the way back to Man City. Against Man City at home, they only conceded 0.55, right? One of the best attacks in the league. And they only conceded 0.55 expected goals. Against Chelsea, it was 1.36. Sheffield United, 0.03. That's ridiculous. 1.09 Newcastle away. 0.3 Burnley at home. 1.11 Brentford away. 0.71 Wolves at home. 0.5 Luton away. 0.51 Villa away. And 0.69 today against Brighton. Like, I know not everyone likes stats, but they are really, really good numbers to say that they are probably going to keep getting clean sheets in the future. And I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet against Liverpool. That's why I've got them benched. But I don't think Salah's a great captain this week, is what I'm trying to say. I know I got a bit into the Arsenal numbers there. I think Salah's a bit like Haaland, where he's never bad, right? If you captain Salah this week, it's not a terrible choice. But I think Son against Everton is probably slightly better. And I think Watkins against Sheffield United just feels to me like that's the one. Just because of the fixture. I mean, preferably I would captain penalty takers. Said that before. But I think on this occasion, they got one of the best fixtures on paper. I do think Chris Wilder has maybe got Sheffield United a little bit more organised, possibly. I think for a while, Chelsea had a little bit of a tough time, especially in the first half, breaking them down. I think Sheffield United did all right against Liverpool as well. I think Chris Wilder was in charge then. But it's not enough for me to not captain Watkins at home against them. So that is probably where I will go. There's something about Son. I don't think I'll switch, but I do like Son this week. But Salah, not really thought about too much. Do I play Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus, and Salah? My other option is to bring in Palmer for Sarr and play Odegaard, Salah, Palmer, and bench J. I wouldn't make a transfer to bench Jesus. No. Chelsea have a tough time against literally everyone. Yeah, fair enough. Everton 4 clean sheets last 4. And what are their numbers for those games? Like their numbers this season are pretty decent. Like, I don't think anyone was expecting it. Yeah, very good. Like 0.77 against Burnley, 0.93 against Chelsea. Some good numbers in there. They can be gotten at though. Like Man United created quite a few chances against them. So did Crystal Palace away not too long ago. I think Son at home is a decent option. In Burmo, Kulusevski, Richarlison, Gordon, or Bailey, I'd probably go Richarlison or Gordon, I think. Bailey was benched today, right? Have I got that wrong? I think he was. He's benched, wasn't he? You've got Solanke and Palmer first bench, so you care. Yeah, again, people can care about what they like. Absolutely. I'm not telling you shouldn't care about the points. I'm just saying that I'm not really bothered that much, despite what people might think. Is it still worth getting Son for 3 games before the Asia Cup? Potentially. I think it depends what the alternative is, though. We are getting close to the point where you probably just shouldn't buy Son because you then got to take him out later on. I think Man United's scoreline against Everton was quite flattering. I don't think Man United... I mean, 2 or 3 goals for Man United might have been okay, I think. But Man United should have conceded. I think that's the difference. And obviously, if they had conceded, the game might have changed. A bit like today, right? Liverpool didn't play great, but one of those chances goes in a bit earlier. Who knows what might have happened? I think Richarlison's an okay pick, yeah? How long would you wait until making a decision about Haaland? Well, you need to wait until we know more, right? There's no need to worry until we know when he might be back. And we can see what happens during... Like, if he plays during the Club World Cup and looks fit, then maybe we just bring him back in 19. I probably won't be... I won't be able to do that now because of the way I've set my team up. So I'll be looking at Gameweek 20. I would just go Richarlison now if buying him or Son. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. Son or Solanke is a 1 week punt for game week 18. Son. I think Fabianski started today to keep up match fitness ahead of the midweek cup game. Also allows a few more days to ensure Areola's wrist is okay. Yeah, you could be right. Could be right. Neto to Dubravka -4. What happened to Neto? He didn't get injured or anything, did he? I feel like I'm completely out of the loop. Yeah, I think you just keep him, right? Unless I'm missing something. Play Liverpool or Arsenal defenders. I play Liverpool, I think. I know I've just said that Arsenal defense is great, but I think I'd go for the guys at home. Fabianski's kept back-to-back clean sheets, but he also conceded 5 goals not too long ago. He's got to be trolling us. What am I trolling you about? Have I missed something with Neto? I'm so confused now. Nothing is wrong with Neto. The person probably knee-jerked him in and wants to knee-jerk him out. Okay, fair enough. What is the prize for winning the overall cup? Not sure. It'd be in the rules somewhere. Do we think of Botman? No, I wouldn't be buying Botman. Not until you see him start 1 or 2 games. Like, he was on the bench today, but he doesn't know. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know what you're on about. Super chat question. I think I answered the one about Jesus. Yeah, I've answered them all, I think. Oh, you need to sell Neto to Dubravka for the money. I mean, it depends what the money's for, right? But possibly, yeah. Trent is a priority buy instead of Darwin. I mean, I would rather have Trent in my team than Darwin, yes. It looks like Lascelles might keep his spot with Botman because Lascelles played really well. I don't think Lascelles keeps his place unless there's injuries. I honestly, my general advice for Newcastle defenders would be just to ignore them now, apart from maybe Trippier. You can't keep up with FPL during the festive period. I don't find FPL that hard to keep up with, as you might imagine, because obviously it's basically my job. But I'm also playing Sky Fantasy Football this year, and that is much tougher. I'm finding it a lot tougher to keep up because you're only getting a limited amount of transfers. And so when something unexpected happens, you then got to rethink about everything that might happen over the next couple of weeks. I mean, prices don't change, so it makes it a little bit easier to plan. But it's a minefield. Like, Jose Sarr was supposed to be my transfer in today, and he didn't even start. Darwin will haul against Arsenal, and the conversation will change all of a sudden. But what do you think will change? Like, Darwin doesn't look great. He's probably not worth buying. I'm benching him anyway. And then whether I play him in game week 19 will depend on how many minutes he gets against Arsenal. But I think he could be benched against Burnley. So I probably will bench him for the next couple of weeks. Have I checked the prizes? I haven't checked the prizes, no. I'm never going to win it anyway. Did I keep Haaland in Sky? Nope. Do you think the abandoned game solution is a threshold amount of minutes being met, say 60 minutes, where if the game is abandoned after that, the points... I really don't know. I really don't know what FPL will do or what they should do. Just let them figure it out, and then we can all move on. Have I ever won a Manager of the Month in FPL? Nah. I'm not good enough. I'm rubbish at FPL. Do you think going from Son to Saka is a good move when he goes to AFCON? Asia Cup. Yes. Is the Man City Brentford double game week delayed announcement down to the Carabao Cup semi-final draw? Looks like those slots... I honestly don't know. I'm sure Ben Krellin on Twitter or James Pan FPL would have a better idea about that. I'm not quite sure about why there is a delay. Could be a handful of reasons, you know. Would you take a hit for Udogie to Pau Torres? I only have 10 players for Game Week 18. I'd be tempted by that, yeah. I think Pau Torres is good going forward. Obviously, if you haven't got a bench, that is, which sounds like you haven't. Nunez is a headache you need to get rid of. But because of the Haaland injury, he's not really that much of a headache now. I can just bench him this week. I think Darwin will eventually go for Alvarez or Haaland, depending on the latest injury update in Game Week 19, probably 20. I probably won't buy Alvarez in 19, but we'll see. Just made it into the top 100k with 92 points this game week. Very nice. Palmer, Kudus, and Jesus captain. Jesus captain, decent. What's the thought process of starting Taylor over Saliba? Just a better fixture on paper. I'm not 100% sure about it, but that's how I've set the team up right now. Whether or not you should start cash for Game Week 18 really depends on whether you got spare transfers or anything on the bench. Like, if you don't want to use a transfer or take him out for a hit, which I think is fine, then I'd probably play him on the off chance that he starts, because if he starts, he's a great option. But if I've got nothing else to do with my move, I might just take him out, which doesn't feel great against Sheffield United, but I'd rather have someone I know is going to start. 9 green arrows in a row from 3.7 million to 200k. I mean, I haven't had 9 green arrows in a row, but I've only had two red arrows in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 game weeks, and they were really small. I went from 374k to 390k over 2 game weeks, and now up to about 200k. So things are going pretty well. Game week 10 wildcard has been decent, with a little bit of luck along the way as well. Your money is starting to get spread out. Are you worried about getting Salah back? Not right now, because he might not be back until game weeks 24 or 25 or something like that. So not hugely worried at the moment. You could bench boost that squad. No chance. No chance. I have 3 Newcastle players. Is it worth transferring Lascelles to Trippier? I mean, if you really want Trippier, yeah, that's definitely an upgrade, as long as you can deal with that money. What's my worst ever game week in the entire history of playing FPL? I mean, the honest answer is I can't remember too many. The one that I guess sticks out from recent times is probably selling triple Liverpool before they smashed Man United 7-0. That wasn't great. Game week 17 FPL status. Match points confirmed. But yeah, again, I wouldn't really worry about the fact that it says points and stuff have been updated, league tables have been updated, because they've already tweeted that they're keeping the game open. Therefore, they can change the points later, and then they will update the league tables again. So I wouldn't read until FPL tweet to say this is what we've done. Nothing is final, basically. Do I think that Diego Carlos at Villa for 4.4 million is a good transfer? I would just get Konza. I think he's just that little bit more nailed and worth the extra 0.1. Like, Carlos has been playing well and he keeps starting, and I'm sure that will continue, but I just think that Konza is more of a sure thing. Would you start Virgil van Dijk or Colwell? Probably Colwell. You should have a Haaland update if he doesn't play World Cup Club World Cup. Nice, let us know. If I were to wildcard in 20 and Haaland is back in 19, do I transfer Haaland for Watkins in 19? Yes, probably. If you can, especially if you can do it for free. You're right, Andy. In the overall scheme of life, it really doesn't matter. However, if you had Raul Jimenez lurking on your bench at first auto sub for Slanky, you might be keeping your fingers crossed. Yeah, again, I don't know. This is going to be such a rubbish. This is going to be such a rubbish stream to listen back to. So I'll just apologise now. But yeah, I obviously want the most points possible. Right, we're playing a game where points is what helps you win the game. But and I'm not saying that you shouldn't be worried about it, because other stuff. There's always something more important than FPL every single day, right? FPL doesn't matter at all. In the grand scheme, I get that, but I'm just saying it doesn't. Again, I just don't care personally. Yes, if I had Jimenez on the bench, would I want him coming on? No, but it wouldn't really change my opinion about not really worrying about what happens, you know? What do I think about Petrovic in goal? I think as soon as Sanchez is back, he becomes a problem, so I probably wouldn't go there. Will Mark be making a call to FPL Towers? Possibly. I guess the only thing that can come out of this from FPL point of view is whatever they decide or whatever happens, that is then the precedent moving forward, right? Just in case something, which hopefully, fingers crossed, doesn't happen again. But if a match does get abandoned for whatever reason, then there's something in place then. Should I do Haaland to Solanke in Game Week 18? Probably not. If you've kept Haaland, there's a reason for that, right? Have I played Yahoo Fantasy Sports? Nope. Any Sunday must transfer? Nope. What is the best keeper to buy with a low price other than Dubravka? I don't think there is one, really. You take a risk on someone like Turner or Areola and then hope for the best. But you're hoping that Areola gets his place back and that Turner doesn't lose it. So either way, it's not great. Ramsdale linked to Chelsea. Would you consider... Ramsdale's not going to Chelsea. Would I consider it? Maybe, but he's not going. Jackson has gone 5 appearances without a yellow card. Progress. Nice. Gavin, how's it going? Which should I transfer out first? Johnston, Palace, Simicast, Matoma, and if so, for who? I mean, if you've got no goalkeeper, I'd deal with that first. Oh, you got Dubravka. Okay, then don't worry about that. I'll say... Well, probably Simicast. Matoma's probably okay to hold for now. Who for? Villa, Chelsea, Porro. Simicast, Torres, or Konza. Wait and see if Pau Torres is injured or not. I think Konza for 4.5 is pretty solid. Again, like people still asking about whether or not to sell players and bring in Kunku in, and Kunku has still had 0 minutes for Chelsea this season. I would want to see at least probably 2 games before I bought him in. I mean, don't get me wrong. If he played 1 game and absolutely smashed it, I'd maybe knee-jerk him in, but preferably want to see a couple of games to see what his minutes are like. I think, like we all expect, when Nkunku is fully fit, he's going to get regular minutes and start pretty much every game, but who knows when that might be. How is Bowen going up tonight? Because he scored a goal, and that's sometimes all it takes. I mean, I can have a look at who's possibly going up tonight. Let me see. Where's price changes? Leno potentially going up. Leno could be 4.8 million. Son might be going up tonight. Bowen, Tarkowski, Richarlison, Vicario, Dubravka again. Palmer, Mount. No, sorry. Mount going down in price. Doku going down. Morris going down. Morris could be 5.1 million. Not that he's worth bringing in. Yeah, Tony could be interesting. Stays at Brentford. All right, I'm going to leave that stream there. Hopefully you enjoyed it, the chat about Bournemouth and Luton. I'm sure we'll find out soon. And then, like I said, we can all just move on from there. I will be doing regular content this week. Obviously, it's a Thursday deadline, so probably early thoughts tomorrow, transfer tips Tuesday, team selection Wednesday, final thoughts on Thursday. Deadline stream as well, of course. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing in the run-up to Game Week 19 deadline yet because the days and the fixtures are a bit awkward, but we'll worry about that next week. For now, we'll concentrate on Game Week 18. So thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do on YouTube. Trying to hit 391,000 subscribers this week, which would be ideal. Nearly there. If you're listening on podcasts, make sure to rate 5 stars. For the members stream on YouTube, it will be on Wednesday at 5 o'clock, I would say. That's almost certainly going to be when it is. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks for joining me, and I will catch you again soon.